All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are going to be working on some SOL or final review for the course because your Monday play posit was the last content for the curriculum. What? Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So if you did Monday's play posit, you have finished all of the curriculum for the year. That was the end of it, which means that your Unit 11 test is open and available to you. When we come back from spring break, you will see the review on your plan for Thursday, and you'll see the unit test on your plan on Friday. Since those are some asynchronous days, those will be the asynchronous lessons on your plan. If you are ready to take them early, you're welcome to. They're open to you. Just remember that the unit test is timed at 3 hours. So once you click on it, you got to finish it in 3 hours. I definitely think you'll be able to do that. If you're not ready for it, don't click on it until you are. Okay, so that's that. If you have any questions about anything from Unit 11, you are welcome to reach out to me. Please know that I'm not going to be responding to emails during spring break, so we're going to enjoy some spring break here at the Grandy house. If you have any questions, though, just go ahead and email me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can when we return. Okay. So that was Unit 11. And all right, so SOL time is starting to come up, right? So hello. Yeah, so if you haven't by now, you should have gotten a testing invite from a website called Testing Nirvana. That's how we schedule all of the testers for SOLs. If you haven't gotten one, then maybe you're not taking an SOL. But if you're not sure, or if you think there's a mistake, you're always welcome to reach out to your counselor and they can help get that straightened away for you. But you should have gotten a testing ticket from Testing Nirvana if you are taking the SOL. If that SOL falls on like one of your holidays maybe, or it just doesn't work for you for whatever reason, when you decline your ticket, that prompts our reschedulers to call you and reschedule your time. Okay, so if for some reason it falls during one of your holidays, because I know that's the case for some of us, decline the ticket and then the reschedulers will reach out to you and reschedule your test. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to be showing you, that's okay, Moheen. We're going to be showing you how to access testing or TestNav today and see practice problems. And then at the end of class, we're going to be working in some breakout rooms and doing some practice problems together. Before we get too far into that, though, I'm going to do something I don't think I've done all year and give you your attendance word right now. Your attendance word is parallel. Write that down somewhere. Parallel. All right, there's your attendance quiz word. We got that out of the way. If you're not taking the SOL, just bear with me for a few minutes because we will be doing practice problems that will be very helpful on a final. So not only are they good practice for an SOL, but they're really good practice for your final also. All right, cool. So this PowerPoint is posted for you on OMHS so that you can access the links that I'm looking at here. The first link is just how to get to TestNav. TestNav is the program that the SOL is given on. So when you get to your testing site and you sit down at your computer is going to be opened to TestNav. The next link that you see there is pretty much how to get to the practice problems within TestNav. You can't click on the new row screen. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. I'm just going to walk you through the steps, but if you want to see the steps later, you can click on the link in the PowerPoint on OMHS. So I'm going to actually share my screen with you so that you can see how to get into TestNav. Here we go. Okay, so this is the document, how to access the practice items, and it takes you through step by step, which I'm going to do with you right now. Okay, so you go into TestNav, and it takes you to this website. Now, when you're taking your actual SOL, your proctor will read directions to you and tell you when to enter your username and password. You're not taking the actual SOL right now, though. You're just practicing. So you're going to click on Virginia practice items right there. And this is all of the practice items for all of the SOLs that they offer. We are going to practice the mathematics test, the geometry one. So you would click geometry over here along the side. If you want to practice the math tools, you are welcome to do that up here. That's all the math tools. But what I'm going to show you today is the practice items for geometry. Your SOL would be a Geometry 2016 standards, and most likely you're in a non-audio test. The audio tests are for students that have special accommodations where it reads out loud. For most of us, that's the non-audio. We're taking the non-audio. Okay, when you click on that, it says, welcome, John Doe. When you're taking the actual SOL, it'll have your name there. Say like, welcome, Casey Grandy, or whatever your name is. This isn't going to grade anything for you. It's not going to give you a score. These are just practice problems, and that's it. And there's only 36 practice problems on this practice test. There should be 60 on your SOL. Okay, should be 99% sure it's 60 questions. 10 of those questions are what we call field questions. Field questions are questions that they will put on there to see, did your teacher teach you above and beyond the standard? Do you remember algebra a little bit more than maybe was needed for the class? Can you think outside of the box in some sort of sense? Field questions do not affect your score. They're not graded. They're just there for the state to collect data to see what we're teaching, what we learned, what we remember, that kind of stuff. So there won't be a username or a password because you just click on the Virginia practice questions. So there's no username or password, just that very last link there. Cohen, I see you there. I'll try to keep that in mind. Okay, so let's see. I'm concerned about some of the questions that are coming through, so I'm going to just kind of start this again. Let's go through the process again. So you get to test nav. This is your screen. You're not actually taking an SOL. You're just doing practice problems. So you click that last link right there, Virginia practice items. Find the geometry section. Alexis, that is correct. And then Geometry 2016 non-audio. When you click Start, you're going to see a pop-up that says, do you promise to abide by the terms and conditions and not use any of these problems for evil? And you say, I agree, just so you can get to them. And then you can start the practice questions. Okay, so this is what TestNav would look like when you log into your SOL. Now the questions will be different, right? They're not going to tell you what the questions are on the SOL, although that would be nice, wouldn't it? These are just released questions from old SOLs or practice problems. This is not going to count for a grade. It doesn't record your grade anywhere. This is just for you to practice. A lot of students have been emailing me and asking me, how can I practice for the SOL? How can I study? That kind of thing. And this is definitely one of the things that I recommend that you do, just to make sure that you can, one, answer questions in whatever order they're thrown at you, and two, that you're comfortable with the tools on your screen. Yeah, so the tools on the screen is really what I want to cover here. I'm going to start up here at the top. Hopefully you can see my little mouse moving around there. So this little blue arrow will take you to the next question. And if you want to go backwards, you can use the back arrow. Then you've got the review button. The review button can be really useful if you're not sure if you answered every question, if you want to see ones that weren't answered, or if you want to see any that you had bookmarked. Okay, when you bookmark a question, you can click the little bookmark tab. And then when you click review, you see the little blue flag there. So I would use the bookmark tool if I was working on a question and I wanted to come back and check it later. Or if I wasn't sure, I wanted to move on, think about something else and come back, right? It's just kind of your way of telling yourself, hey, come back and check this problem for whatever reason. Okay, and then as you finish, you can always unbookmark your questions too. Will it tell you if you got it right or wrong? This will not tell you whether you got it right or wrong, but I'll show you how to check your answers. Just give me a minute. So some other tools, you got a pointer tool. It's probably the one you'll use the most just because that's what you can use to click on everything. And that's what I'm using right now, the pointer tool. You've got an answer eliminator. The answer eliminator doesn't really work on your drag and drop type questions, but it would work on a multiple choice. So if I was doing the problem number 2 here, and I know the answer is definitely not D, I can cross off D with that answer eliminator. If you eliminate one and then you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have, you just click it again and the X goes away. however many times you eliminate the questions does not affect your answer, because you can still answer one of them. You would just have to like unclick it, uneliminate it. Okay. Then the next 3 tools, I honestly don't really know why they put them on here for you. Maybe just to throw you off. Maybe someone has some really cool thing that they do with them that I'm just unaware of. But they're rulers. You would never need, I can't imagine why you would need a ruler on our SOL. There's really nothing to measure. And when you are using like a compass and a straight edge, there's actually those tools. And I'll show you that in a minute. So if you accidentally click one, just unclick it and it'll go away. The one tool here that I think is the most important is that calculator. That calculator is the last tool there. And this is the calculator you'll get on the SOL. There are no handheld calculators allowed on the SOL anymore. So unless you have like some special accommodation, which is not something that a lot of people have. Okay, so no more handheld calculators. It's all the Desmos, which is why I've been teaching you how to use Desmos all year long. So hopefully you've been taking my advice and using that Desmos testing calculator. If not, it's not too late. You can still definitely go in and practice it. The link is in our toolbox on OMHS. So when you're in that calculator, of course, make sure you're familiar with that keyboard, all of the special buttons, including our trig buttons. So if there's a button on a calculator and you don't see it here, click on that functions. It's probably there. Your sine, cosine, tangent is right there along with its inverses. And then just recently, we've been working with that cube root button. That's in the miscellaneous section. The nth root is right there. Okay, so definitely make sure you are familiar with using that calculator. It's a little different than the regular Desmos. So if you've been using just Desmos, not the testing one, may I recommend that you go in and play with the testing calculator once or twice, just so you know where all the buttons are. It does break my heart when students sit down to take their SOL and they raise their hand and they say, how do I find the square root button? Your proctor can't tell you. Your proctor is not allowed to tell you what buttons to push. They're not allowed to do anything. The only thing they're allowed to do is smile at you and say, read the directions on your screen carefully. So please make sure that you have looked at that testing calculator and that you are comfortable and familiar with it before you sit down for your SOL. I am 99% sure it will stay in degree mode for you. I highly recommend that you click on that little wrench and just make sure that degrees is highlighted. Okay. Every time I've logged in here, it's been in degree mode. But if I tell you it's definitely going to be in degree mode, then it'd be my luck that it wouldn't be. So the only buttons that really matters for is the trig buttons. If you were doing any other problems that weren't trig, degree mode makes no difference to you. Yeah. So the types of questions that you'll see, right? And I'll go through those in just a minute here. Hold on. I'll answer that in a second. Yeah. So the thing is, if you're in the wrong mode, you'll know it because none of the answers on your screen will make sense, or your answer will be really weird, like negative 7,200,000 or whatever. It'd be like some weird number. I don't know why I said that number, but it would be some really weird negative number maybe. And hopefully that would alert you to maybe you're in the wrong mode. One more button I really want to show you before we talk about the types of questions is way over here. Like, I feel like it's almost hidden. You see this exhibits folder over here? That's where your formula sheet's going to be. And you can adjust that screen however you want with your little tab there. Remember, your formula sheet's 2 pages. So at the top, you'll see 2 tabs for the 2 different pages of the formula sheet. I've had some students take the SOL and say, Miss Grandy, the formula sheet was only 1 page. And then we realized that they did not click on the second tab. Okay, so just watch out for that. All right, so there you go. You got your calculator and formula sheet, probably the 2 biggest tools that you'll need on this. So that exhibits tool is all the way over here on the right. Yep, right there. That's where your formula sheet will be. Okay, so types of questions that you might see. You might see a drag and drop type question, where you would drag the box and put it. Clearly, there's more choices than there are boxes, so just be careful with that. Multiple choice, which we're pretty good at multiple choice. That's what a lot of our tests and quizzes and things have been in this year. So multiple choice. And then you might see a problem like this where you get a whole new toolbar, right? You see all the new tools over here? If a problem needs or even could have the need for these tools, they'll put this here. And they do that a lot with like pictures and diagrams. So with these, you can actually write on the screen. There's a little pencil tool. You can click on that. You have a pencil and you could draw a line if you want. So if you wanted to put an arc mark there, boom, there you are. If you wanted to use a compass, that's your second tool. Now this compass is actually a bird's eye view of the compass we were using in class. If you know how to use that compass we were using in class, then you'll be able to use this one. The pointy part is just like the pencil part. The dark circle here is like the pointy part. Or let me try again. The arrow is the pencil part that makes the mark. And then this dark circle right here is like the pointy part of the compass. You can make the compass bigger or smaller by dragging out this gray circle. And the one thing that makes me wish that I could change it is I wish this would lock, but the compass doesn't lock. So just be careful with that. I highly recommend that at some point between now and your SOL, you go in and play with that compass tool just to be comfortable with how it works and all of that. Zoran, we'll do examples in a minute. Just let me get through all of this stuff first. There's an eraser button there. If the eraser button for some reason doesn't work for you, I can't seem to get this thing to work. It's okay. You've got an undo button. You can always click undo. Or you could trash everything by clicking the delete button. It clears the whole thing. You can also change the color of your ink. So like maybe you wanted to make all of your acute angles black and all of your obtuse angles green. You can change the color of the ink. Yeah. You can also change whether you're writing in like a skinny pencil or a thicker, fatter type pencil. And again, you can undo anything and trash the whole screen if you need to. Okay. Let's see, it's a multiple choice. Here's one that's a little different. This one is where you would have to plot a point on the screen. Okay, so you would read the questions carefully. One thing that I would caution you about is this word integral coordinates. Students see that and they start to like freak out because they don't know what that means. An integral coordinate is just a coordinate that has whole numbers. So like 1, 2, 7, 9, -4, -8. There's not any coordinates that have decimals. So like you're not going to see 1.5, 7.5. Just whole numbers. Okay, so that's all integral coordinates means. This question is asking us to plot a point on the line that is parallel to the given line. So using this point right here, you have to plot another point so that when you connected, maybe that's what you can use this for. When you connected these two, you would get a parallel line, right? I honestly would recommend using like slope and all of that. But if you wanted to use the line to connect them, you could. But however you plot that point, whatever that blue point is that you leave on your screen, that's your answer. Okay, so wherever you leave that point, that's going to be your answer. So make sure you choose carefully. Okay, I definitely would use slope, like your rise over run, make them match kind of deal. Multiple choice, some more plot a point. So if it says plot a point, that just means click on a point that you want to be your answer. Seeing if there's any other types here. Lots of multiple choice. There's a drag and drop. Multiple select. Here we go. There's one other type, and this is one where you would have to like enter your answer. So your answer must be in fraction form. So you would type like whatever the answer is, 8/19 or whatever. Okay, so there's no like keyboard to make it a fraction. Just use your slash to make your fraction. You needed one. Okay, so that it could have like a free response, although if the practice release questions are any indication, it's not every question. It's just, every now and then you might have a free response. Lots of multiple choice though. Here's a free response. Notice they already have the units for you, which is why I just keep giving you the units in our class too, so that you're just used to putting the answer with just a number. All right, nice. One thing I do want to just caution you, and I would caution you whether this was an SOL, a final, or an exit ticket. Read your questions very carefully. Make sure you're answering the question. All right, nice. All right, let's go back to what we were doing over here. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at this problem. I'm going to enable your whiteboard tools. Could you grab your pointer tool and show me where would you find your formula sheet? Yay, very good. Where would you find your calculator? Purple arrow, I knew what I was going to ask. Where would you find your compass? Very good. Awesome. And now if you need any of those tools, the compass or a pencil, and you can't see it on your screen, then it's been determined that you don't need it for that question. Okay, very good. Thank you, guys. All right, one more thing. I want to show you how to find your answers on this because that's helpful, right? You want to be able to know if you got it right. So in our PowerPoint for today's lesson, on the last page, there are 2 links. The first link takes you to all of the answers for all of the practice questions. So for us, you would just want to go to page 23. The geometry practice questions start on page 23. So when you click on that link, scroll down to page 23 and you can check your answer. Did I get it right? Did I not get it right? If you want an overview or to see any other test tools and test nav, you are welcome to click on this link, and straight from the VDOE, they tell you about each button and other tools in test nav. I think I've shown you everything that you really need to know though, but you are welcome to review that again. So this link is in today's PowerPoint. You can find it in OMHS on today's lesson. Yep, not a problem. Okay. So we are going to do some review, some practice problems. Okay. Today's lesson, we are going to cover things from reporting category 1. There's 3 reporting categories on the SOL, very fancily named reporting category 1, 2, and 3. Reporting category 1 is about lines, reasoning, transformations, and then constructions is in there too. So what I've done is I've broken these up into the standards in the reporting category. And we're going to go into some breakout rooms and we're going to practice those standards. When you get into the breakout room, I would love for you to do the following things. Read the question. Brainstorm how you might solve that problem. Okay. Then ask the classmates in that breakout room what they would do to solve it. Even if you already know the answer, even if you already know how to solve it, it's always a good idea to ask other people how they're solving it. Maybe they have a different way of thinking about it. Maybe they have an easier solution. Maybe you're thinking too much. That happens to me a lot. Or if you don't know, then it's even better to ask because then they can help you out. If you still don't understand what they're saying or you still don't understand how to do the problem, ask more questions. Like, okay, you said find the distance. What equation are you using? Right? That's a good question. If the content in front of you seems super unfamiliar or you don't remember it, make a note to study that. Study logic, right? Study parallel lines. Make a note so you know what to study later. Don't be afraid to share your ideas. Even if you only know the first step, sometimes just that first step helps someone else find the next step. So it's okay to share your ideas and share your resources. When you see a problem, someone says, I don't remember learning this. Maybe you say, oh, this was from Unit 2. There's a really good review video on OMHS, right? You can share your resources. You're allowed to share your answers. Okay? This isn't a test. This isn't a quiz. This isn't to trick you or to see what you know or don't know. This is for you to see what you don't know or don't know. Okay, so you're welcome to share your answers. You can type them in the chat. You can enable your microphone if you want to talk to each other. And all of your whiteboard tools will be open too, so you can write on the screen. You should also be able to toggle back and forth between the pages because each breakout room has multiple pages, so hopefully you can do that. If you can't move the pages, let me know. I'm going to be coming through each breakout room. If you have questions, you can ask me. You are welcome to raise your hand in the breakout room, and I will come and answer questions as I can. Okay, so if there's lots of hands being raised, I'll just be coming through each room and answering the questions. So just be patient with me if you do that. And then after class today, just know that all of the semester 1 content, I put it into our current OMHS page. So if you want to see Unit 2 notes, you want to watch the Unit 3 review video again, it's all in a folder on OMHS called Semester 1. Okay, and it's all in there. All of the links to all of the videos, all of the review videos, all of the notes, all of the practice problems. And then the answer key to these problems, plus a video of me doing the problems, are already posted for you on OMHS also. Now, I will tell you, I cheated a little and I used my video I made last year. So the year isn't going to match up. And my voice even sounds different, which is weird. But it's me. And it's just me doing the problems. So you're welcome to, go through them, fast forward, go back, whatever you need to answer any questions you have when you're not in here. Okay, that's a lot of talking. All right, your 4 breakout rooms. The first one is on standard G1, pretty much Unit 2 stuff, converse, inverse, contrapositive, symbols, laws of syllogism, law of detachment, that sort of thing. Breakout room 2, which is G2, will be on parallel lines, alternate interior angles, consecutive interior angles, proving lines parallel, proving lines congruent, or angles congruent, that kind of thing. G3, which will be breakout room number 3. That's where your distance and midpoint formula, slope will come into play, determining whether the lines are parallel or perpendicular based on their slope. And then also this is where they kind of hid our Unit 9 stuff, transformations, symmetry. And then G4 is constructions. If you need to review constructions, like I said, it's all in that semester 1 content. The links to the videos that I showed you there with all of the steps, that's there too. So I'm going to open up the breakout rooms. It's going to randomly put you in one. You can move yourself around. You don't have to stay in the breakout room that you get assigned to. You can move however you want, especially if you know exactly what room you want to go to. All right, here we go. 4 rooms. Yes, but we're not going to be able to have like a full-blown like 20-minute conversation, okay? Let me figure that out. Oh, hold on a second. All right, yeah, you can ask me a question quick, and then I got to go to another room and answer a question. How do I turn on your mic? Let me figure it out. Where are you? Here you are. Did it work?
Yeah.
There you go.
So I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So Venn diagrams, right?
Okay.
Are Venn diagrams honors work or are they normal work?
Yes. So you need to be able to look at a Venn diagram and know like all, some, or none. And then like if I said that a student plays the clarinet and the trumpet, where on the Venn diagram would they be? You need to be able to do that. As for like the numbers, we did some Venn diagrams with numbers and how many students were in each category. That was more of the honor stuff.
So which unit was that?
Unit 2.
I don't even remember that. So, okay. Let me see.
All right. Good. Is that your question?
I don't know. Let me just check it real quick and then I'll tell you.
Okay, I'm gonna go answer a person's question in room 4. I'll be right back here, okay?
Okay.
He left me. All right. So I hope that you found that helpful. I hope you found it useful, even if it was a kind of maybe a wake up call to what you maybe need to practice, or maybe you realize you know more, you remember more than you realize. So that's good. Hopefully you found it useful and you found it good. The links I was referencing, I went ahead and posted in a announcement on OMHS, so you could just kind of find them all in one place. The test nav link, the link to how to get to the practice items, and the link to the answers. If you didn't get through all of them, that was okay. We were just here to practice, not to run a race. So if you would like to continue to practice these, in OMHS today's folder, that is the reporting category 1 packet. You're welcome to work through all of them. The answer keys are posted with it if you want to check your answers, and there's a video of me doing each problem if you want a more thorough or an in-depth explanation on each one. So those are there for you. There's no exit ticket for today. I do exit tickets when we learn new content, and we're done learning new content. So no more exit tickets. The last exit ticket will have been from Monday, the 11th. Yeah, there's still an attendance quiz, so make sure you do that. If you missed the word, you'll have to watch the recording. Hopefully you got the word. I hope you all have a wonderful spring break. Relax, enjoy your family, stay safe. And if you do choose to do some work, that's okay. But make sure you take some time for yourself too. Okay. I will be unavailable until Thursday, but you are welcome to email me and I will reply to you when we get back. If you do the attendance quiz now, then you don't have to worry about when it's due. You have a week to do it though, so it'll close in a week. Yeah. Right. Cool.